Have you ever felt like there's a vivid fire burning inside of you, yearning to break free and illuminate your life? That, my friend, is your vibrant life waiting to bloom. Welcome to the Vibrant Life Podcast. We are here to empower women just like you to liberate that vibrant life, to live authentically, and to harness the power within.
Our journey will take us through the enlightening realms of energy healing, goal setting, spiritual awakening, and so much more. We're stepping into the light of self-acceptance, of owning our power and potential.
If you have been yearning to dive headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship, or awaken your spirituality, or simply make peace with yourself, your search ends here at the Vibrant Life Podcast. As we embark on this enlightening journey together, we promise to hold your hand through every step of your journey to a more vibrant life.
Your adventure to true empowerment and authentic living begins here. Tap into the vibrant life you've always dreamed of. Subscribe now and join us at the Vibrant Life Podcast. Embrace your vibrant self. Until then, shine on.
Shine on.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome. Welcome to Vibrant Life Podcast.
Yes.
I'm Audrey.
I'm Cassie.
We're going to pull a card.
Yes.
We decided this is how we're going to start some podcast out. This is how we start our time with each other.
Yeah, so normally we come and we just kind of chat as we're getting ready, and then we pull cards. And then Audrey has been doing daily polls. So if you haven't been watching those, go do that. You can find it within our Vibrant Life app. And then are you still posting them on social media?
I have been, yeah. Some
Okay.
on social
So
media.
You can find them several places. So go and watch them.
So they're on TikTok and YouTube, and then also in Vibrant Life, our Vibrant Life app, which we now have our free platform that we're going to open up. Are you
Yes,
ready? We're
it's
doing
ready.
it today.
Come join us.
We're going to do it today. So we are feeling so called to just provide a safe place for people to commune. So Cassie's got all these fun chats open. So come join the chats. Smut Coven is my favorite one because we had a book weekend, and my sister especially is super into spicy books. So
Same girl, same.
I
I wish I could take credit for that name. It was actually in the book that I read on our book weekend, and I was like, oh, this is Vibrant Life. This is like witchy and smutty books. And I had so much fun talking to all of our friends about books. And like, I just love the energy of that community. So I was like, we're bringing this to Vibrant Life.
Yes.
So I wish I was that witty. I'm not. It was an author. Go read Penelope in Retrograde. It was a good book.
You gave
So,
credit. I love it.
Yes.
I hadn't been super into reading in recent years, and then Cassie got me hooked on
Alessa Thorne.
Alessa Thorne. Yeah, so those are a little bit smutty too, and I am on my 7th out of 7 of the first series. So
I've read all of hers and I like devoured them. She's one that I will like take a day off of work. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about her. She's on Kindle Unlimited, and I had to have like a little like moral like moral. When I was trying to decide if I was going to cancel Kindle Unlimited. And then a creator on TikTok, I wish I could remember her name. She was like, oh, if you read 10 books a month, like you are costing them money to be a Kindle Unlimited user. And I was like, challenge accepted. Sweet. Like, I can do that. Because it's like, I found so many good authors like Alessa Thorne.
yeah.
And I know they get paid for me to read their books on there. So I was like, I don't want to support Amazon, but like, just that we're all finding ourselves in those little. So I was like, okay, 10 bucks a month, deal.
It's good to know that because I also now have Kindle Unlimited right now, and I got those 2 series, and I need to keep plugging away because I'm ready to check out some more of her books. So
Yes.
so
I love all of them.
we had our book weekend. We had amazing time with we had up to 17 women filtering through
Yes.
Cassie's Airbnb, some staying the night. We had really good food. We had fun books to read. We did some crafts. People
Yes.
who had never met each other and had connections.
Yeah, that was fun. We talked about that. So Audrey invited her sister and her good friend Ellen, and it was like, that's just how this group works. And that's also what we envision for Vibrant Life is like, I invited Audrey last time and invited her to some people. And I invited my sister last time and introduced her to some people. And then there was like friends from work that like I didn't know that came to my Airbnb. And so it was just like, and now we're friends. And now we're in a book club together. And now, our friends are inviting more friends. And like, I just love it so much.
It's so good, and the energy is so good. And so Vibrant Life has changed lots. And
Yes.
we've been together for a year now. It's a year.
It's a year.
Yeah, because we're hitting
it was
February.
end of January.
It was the end of January.
That I was like, hey, Audrey, let's chat.
Yes. And so we didn't really start getting into it until March, I think was our first real meeting. But the idea sprouted. So it's been a whole year. We've taken a lot of changes. We've trying to figure out what it is. And we now really feel very empowered today to say Vibrant Life is a community space. So it's community online, but it's going to be community locally. We're really excited.
Yes, our dreams have evolved, and like we want to share them with you along the way, because you'll be seeing them on our socials and everything as we bring them to fruition. But we want to create a space here. We want to host retreats like we do with our book weekend. So we want to go all over. So if you don't live in the Des Moines area, don't worry, you can still be part of our local community. We want to bring it to you in person. But we also want the online space, because we know not everyone lives in Des Moines.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing too. We'll come to you. Tell us where you live and we'll plan something.
Seriously. I love that so much. I'm thinking back to the chats I'd mentioned, Smut Coven, but we also have what's the mom space called?
Mom Talk Real Talk.
Mom Talk Real Talk, where you can talk about being a mom, talk about your challenges with your kids. What else we got?
We've got the energy exchange. So that's all things like
woo-woo.
That's kind of Audrey's woo-woo space. We've got
my daily poll.
The daily poll
space for that
is in there. We've got Working with the Moon as part of the VIP section. We've got the Dream Plan Do, which is goal planning. This is my friend Emily came over and shared a dream that she wanted. She's like, I just don't know what first steps to take. And I was like, girl, hold my water.
Right.
Whipped out my giant Post-it notes and this is just my idea of a girls' night. I've been like, okay, you've got a dream, let's make a plan. And she left with a to-do list of 3 things, and she's completed those 3 things, and she's on her way. And so it's all about encouraging each other and bouncing ideas off each other in the Dream Plan Do. We also have the glow up chats. So for those of you who've been here a little bit, you might know I'm in the middle of writing a book, and it's all about, it was 5 to Thrive, and we've rebranded it as Glow. So it's a daily practice, a daily routine for just nourishing yourself, nourishing your community. And so we've got the glow up chats to hold each other accountable and talk about that and talk about our wins and how it's changing your life. Mom Life Real Talk, we've got that. So that is not about toxic positivity motherhood. Nope. It's also not just a bitch session. It's about real things. Motherhood, you're confronted with real things, and you need a community to talk to about that kind of stuff. What's going on in school, how your kids are handling things, getting advice. And I know there are a lot of unsafe mom spaces. Yeah. And so we're going to do our best to make it not that. And then the energy exchange, and then the Smut Coven.
I love that. And that's where my sister went straight to. She's like, Smut Coven, I'm in.
I'm in.
Let's talk. I love that.
So what are you reading? We might do some other ones.
Yeah.
We might do some different book talks. We've got some ideas about just our favorite recommendations. So what other topics do you want to talk about? Let us know. Leave it in the comments and we'll add them.
Yes, and then just get involved and just start a new conversation. Pop in one of the spaces, ask a question, tell a story, say you need some advice, whatever it is. Pop in there and let us know what's happening.
Yes.
We're so excited.
Yes.
Okay, so we're on Mighty Network, so you can search for us there. I will also have all the links and all of our social spaces. It should be YouTube, Spotify, you should be able to find the links wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Okay, so I pulled for us. So as a collective, if you're listening to this message is for you. I find that when I pull cards for any collective, that the message might come through differently for one person to the next, but the message is still you interpret it how you would like to. So the first one is rest. Rest. And so we were talking about this earlier. Historically, you're like, January 1st, I got to make these goals and crush them. But the first of the new year is actually in the springtime. We've changed the calendar that doesn't necessarily match up with how the energy feels. So springtime is about slaying those goals. And this time is a period of rest. So find that funny. We just talked about that. Caution. I feel like caution ahead is really having to do with the changes that are happening in the political climate right now, what's being sent out from the White House. So just taking things cautious, but just be aware, but not be hyper focused on what's happening. Also, you need to focus on your inner world, seeking truth. So also knowing that all the answers that you need can be found within yourself. So just taking that moment to pause and listen to your own intuition. And what does that sound like? Invention, we're creating something new here. All of us together are realizing that the things that no longer serve us need to fall away, and it's time to reinvent something new. Endings are going to happen with all the things that are happening as well. And then the last one is work. So I feel like we have to work together to create that new beginning, but we all also have to be in a space of letting things go that no longer serve us. It's time to...
I think there's like work to do as the collective. Like we can't just, going back to the caution, like we can't just let things happen. We have to not only resist that, but then put in the work to see the changes that we want to see.
Yep. We can't be idle.
Yes.
We've been idle before. Mm-hmm. This is the second coming. So in 2020, the end of 2020, I guess, was the end of his, but like we all sat idly and watched things happen instead of working together. And so there are so many people, we talked about this last time too, finding one thing. Don't feel overwhelmed by all the amount of work that has to do, but if everybody finds one focus and starts there, then, and just moment by moment, stay very mindful. Nothing is too hard to do.
Yes. And I love that. That actually kind of brings us into our topic of today.
Yes.
So we are talking about designing your vibrant life. What does vibrant life really mean to you? Just like, us working together, we've taken on some new dreams. We've created this thing together. We want to go back to the basics. We had to go back and say, does this fit? Does this work? What does this dream look like? And you have the ability to do that at any time in your own life, to take a step back and reevaluate. So if you feel like you're chasing dreams and goals that don't actually light you up, this episode is for you. Yes. This is the one where you walk away having a clear, personalized vision of what a vibrant life looks like for you, and not what it should be, what you're being told it should be. And I think that's very timely for the space we're in, and even the cards you pulled of coming in and focusing on you and your inner world, creating that, making that vibrant so that you are raising your vibration, and that's going to ripple out as well.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's our topic for today. So if you've ever felt like you are, just checking things off the box, or checking off boxes, let's rewrite that story.
So I think this takes me back to when I started To Awaken, and I was checking off all the boxes, right? So I went to high school, and you're in high school, and you're going to church.
Yes.
Because you're supposed to go to church, and you're being taught, you go to school, you get a degree, you find a job, you work hard because you have to work hard for your money.
The American dream.
The American dream. You have to get married, you have to have children. And then I get to 2020, record stop, pandemic's happening. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what's happening? I don't understand. Like, I didn't understand the world as everything felt like it was crumbling down around me. And there was just this little piece within me that was like, there has to be more to life. Like, why are we actually here? I've talked about this story a lot before in the beginning as we started Vibrant Life. And I think now we kind of want to get more into the nitty gritty of society's expectations. How do you let those go? And how do you touch base with yourself? Like, what's really in here?
Yeah. I feel like mine kind of happened over a series of what the fuck moments. So, and I think I was clinging on to these ideals that were sold, or this checklist that were sold, because I was like, it was just a coping mechanism, because it wasn't coming to fruition for me. And I feel like a lot of millennials kind of had that same experience of like, we got out of school and it was shit. And then you work hard and you're not going places, and you're just like, but this was what I was told. Right. This is what I was told. And it took everything crumbling around me for me to really be like, okay, put that aside. What do you want? And through going through this process, it's not like this isn't like prosperity gospel. This isn't like, if you do this, everything is going to be great. What this means is that even when shit is going wrong, you still have a peace about you. And I think that's the biggest growth point that I've been able to see, because I mean, so when I look back at my life over the last 9 years, it's been very up and down. But through this process of being like, okay, self-discovery, what do I want? How do I want to live on my own terms? Even when things are bad, there's this hope, there's this knowing, there's this fulfillment that I wouldn't have if I was just subscribing to these shoulds that you have to check off.
Yeah. The other thing that popped up for me when you were talking about that was, and I just had it on the tip of my tongue, and then I was like, I'm almost there. And then I lost it. Shit.
That's going to be a clip on social. Shit!
Well, I'm going to have to edit this podcast because now I've lost my train of thought, and I'm not sure what else to do with that. What was coming up for me when you were talking about that? The shoulds.
The up and so I was talking about there's been ups and downs, but there's this been fulfillment. There's been this knowing. My ear is ringing. This is just devolving.
We're like, yes, we have a topic. We know what we want to talk about. We want to dive deeper into it. And then we're like, and we're done.
No. Okay. So my life has been these ups and downs, but there's been this deeper fulfillment. There's been still this sense of peace and accomplishment, even though I'm maybe not checking off the things that society has been telling me to check off, because I know myself now. So what we're saying is a vibrant life isn't about just being productive or busy 24/7. It's about living in alignment and fulfillment and flow. And if you're hearing those words and you're like, that is a foreign language to me, that's okay. We will get you there, my girl.
Right. There's a perspective shift that happens. Okay. Yes. And so I am rewatching Friends right now. And so there's an episode, it's way towards the end. It's the last season. And Ross has collected 10,000 bottles of shampoo, because that's what he does when he goes to hotels. And he has them in his bag, and they've exploded on his way home. And he goes, why does everything bad happen to me? Why do bad things happen to good people? And so that's where I probably would have been definitely 10 years ago. Why do bad things happen to good people? And now I'll take a second and I will take a breath and I'll be like, what am I supposed to learn?
Ooh, yeah.
So that perspective shift that happened to me now frequently when bad things happen, because bad things happen, what am I supposed to learn from this? What's the point of this?
Yes. Yeah. And that's not to say like, don't feel the feelings. Don't be mad. Don't be sad. I have this like visceral response when people are like, when I hear anything that's like, well, like that almost is like victim blaming, because I've had things happen to me that were in no way my fault, that I could not prevent. It wasn't like I was attracting this with my vibration or whatever. It's just shit happens in the world.
Happens. Yes, absolutely.
And so then it's up to you how you respond.
Yeah.
And
that's the only thing you have control over is how you respond to any one situation. You can't control how everybody around you is responding to a situation.
Right.
It's only you.
Yes. And so when we're talking about this vibrant life, we're not trying to sell you something that's like world is peachy. We're not doing that. What we are talking about is living with intention and joy, regardless of what's going on in the world, feeling connected to yourself and your desires. So waking up and being like, this is what I want. This is who I am. Having that peace and fulfillment that comes from that, and being able to tap into energy and excitement in your life, and then allowing space for rest and play. So that's what we're talking about. And you're better equipped to handle the things that go on in your life if you're living within this vibrant space. So you can ask yourself, you know, when you're thinking about this, if you're like, well, I don't know if I'm living in alignment or not, you could answer these questions. Is your life truly vibrant? If your life was truly vibrant, how would you feel each morning? And does that align with how you feel right now? So as you're evaluating this, are they lining up? What would your days look like? If we took out all obstacles, if we took out any shoulds, if we took out any messages that you were grown up with, that you were like raised with, or that the world is telling you, what would your days look like? If you could just leave it all behind, would you, I don't know. What would you do? What would your days look like? And then what would you stop doing? This was the question that I really started with. I listed out all of these expectations I had of myself. And when I was doing this, first time I did this, I was a brand new mom, and I was going through divorce. So I was a single mom, and I was like, okay, these are all of the expectations I've put on myself, or that I feel like I have to live up to. And I created a stop list. So instead of a to-do list, I created a stop list. And it was, I'm going to stop forcing myself to cook every night. Because I didn't fucking care at that point. Like, I was like, I am barely making it by. Like, I don't need to be serving 3-course meals every night. Like, that's not something I need to do. Or I allowed myself to stop breastfeeding because it just wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, it's not working. So I'm going to stop forcing myself to try. And I went to pumping, and she's still alive.
She's still alive, and she did great. But that's another great example of societal expectations, is that women breastfeed their babies and that it's easy and a must need. No. You must have.
No, it was the hardest thing. And it wasn't working for me. So these expectations, or like that my house needs to be spotless all the time, or that I need to have a perfect life balance between work and home. And this is what started me into developing the GLOW method that we'll go into. And this is what started me in the seasons method that we're going to talk about, of life doesn't need to be perfectly balanced all the time. That was my big aha. That was the mind-blowing thing from that. So what is your things that you can say, I'm no longer doing this?
Yeah.
I'm taking this off my plate.
Mine had a lot to do with hanging out with people that didn't make me feel good.
Ooh.
Stuff like not feeling guilty about going to different functions or events, or talking about people. I worked with 120 women. There was a lot of toxic gossip. It took me a lot to stop that habit, because people who are in a low vibration hurt people. So I was in that negative space where I really had to work out of that. So I got rid of that, realized my job was toxic altogether. And if I couldn't get away from that, it was time to find a new job. So I got a new job, and then I got another new job.
Yeah. So you realized you're living out of alignment. So
yeah.
What were the signs? What were the things that helped you see that? Like,
I was so burnt out.
Feeling drained and resentful.
I was a terrible mom. I mean, I wasn't a terrible mom, but I wasn't the mom I wanted to be. I was impatient. I couldn't just enjoy the little things. It was, we got to do this, and then we do this, and then we do this, and we do this. I was always 10 steps ahead of where I was at, just thinking about the laundry and dinner and what's the next. Instead of taking my kids to the park and enjoying the park, I wasn't at the park. I was already at home on my to-do list on what needed to come next.
You were stuck in that shoulds.
I was stuck in the shoulds and always ahead, and I couldn't be mindful in the moment.
Yeah, I think the big one for me to realize I was living out of alignment is I had no idea what I really wanted. Yeah. So my life had burned down around me, and I was like, well, what do I want? And I had no idea, because I had spent the last however many years putting everyone else's needs before my own.
Yes.
And I was walking into a season where they tell mothers to do that.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't think I can anymore. Like, I don't think I can physically do this. And I wanted to be a better mother.
Yeah.
Then I knew that this path was leading me down on. So if that is resonating with you, you're not behind. You're waking up to what's possible. So do not hear this.
Cassie, say that again. That was like,
so if you're hearing this, and if you're saying, oh my gosh, I am living out of alignment, you're not behind. You're waking up to what's possible. You're starting a new chapter. You're turning over a new page, and you're saying, this is what I want to create. You're stepping into that driver's seat. Oh my gosh, that was so many cliches.
I don't hear them. It was so good. And it resonated so deeply. You're not behind. Yeah, you're just waking up to what is possible.
Yes.
And that's just it. You're waking up.
You're waking up to what's possible, to wanting better for yourself.
So
that is living vibrantly. So one of the first steps is, well, first, you've already done the first step. You've realized that this isn't what you want anymore. So now it's time to take action, and you can align your goals to what you truly want. And this is where the seasons method comes in, because the first thing you need to look at is your season, is the energy that you're in right now. Audrey touched on this earlier of, when the new year is. The card we pulled is rest. And that leads into where I was kind of thinking with, if you are listening to this and you're like, I am not in alignment, you have probably been going and going and going and going and you probably need to start with a season of resetting.
Yeah.
So how we set goals within Vibrant Life is we have 4 seasons, and it aligns with your energy because, like I said, life isn't always balanced, and it doesn't always need to be. You don't need this 50-50 split between work and life balance. Sometimes it's going to be like this. Sometimes it's going to be like this. It reminds me of this example. The first time I went to counseling during my divorce, she had this hula hoop example, and she was like, in a healthy relationship, you have 3 hula hoops. So you have your hula hoop, his hula hoop, and your relationship hula hoop, and they cross. And she's like, in a healthy relationship, you have 1 foot in your hula hoop and 1 foot in your relationship's hula hoop, and so does he. And then, or so does your partner, because you might not be with the he. So
we support all love.
Yes. And so you each have 1 foot in your relationship and 1 foot in yours. And sometimes that person is struggling. And so they need to put both feet in their own hula hoop. And you need to step in and carry the weight of your relationship. And that's okay, as long as it's like temporary. And then eventually when they've sorted themselves out or they're through that hard period, they're able to step back in and you're able to spend more time on yourself. So not everything has to be balanced 100% of the time.
Yeah.
That example just blew my mind, because then she was like, you have had both feet in your relationship for years and years and years and years. She's like, so we're taking your feet out and we're putting them both into yours. Life-changing. So if you think about that, you have hoops in your life, right? You've got your work hoop and your life hoop and your family. And so you can't have feet in all of those hoops all the time. You only have 2 feet. You only have so much energy. So when we set our goals, we need to align them with the amount of energy that we have at this moment. There are going to be seasons where we need to slow down and we need to rest. And we call that a resetting season. And then there's a season where you might have a little bit more energy and maybe you're feeling called to explore. And so that is a reinvention season. And so you're setting goals and you're aligning your energy with exploring new ideas and self-discovery and trying things out. And then you might have, if you're feeling very revved up, if you have kind of hit those 2, those are probably pretty good. You're going to go into a revitalization season. And this is where you're taking action, you're executing, you're checking things off, you're kicking ass and taking names and all the things. And then we go into a season of celebration, which is rejoicing. And so this is reflection, deep gratitude. It's more of a rest, but it's more of a joint rest of just a celebration season. And they do kind of go in order when you're starting out this journey, I feel like, because a lot of times when you first realize you need a change, it requires a lot of slowing down. It requires a lot of minimizing, taking things off, laying foundations, reinvention. You're going to go see who you truly are. You're going to try out new methods to do things. And then when you've gotten in that groove, you're ready to expand and you're ready to build. And then we go into rejoicing and you're rejoicing those wins. So sometimes it is cyclical. When you've been doing it a while, you can maybe have 3 revitalization seasons in a row. You might have, 1 season of rest followed by a season of celebration or whatever. So they don't necessarily have to go in order, but I'm saying if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not living in alignment, where do I start? You start with a season of resetting. So we don't have to be in hustle mode all year long.
No.
We don't have to. So that's the takeaway. And we want to align our seasons.
Yeah. I was just going to say, even if you're in a season of go, you might have one day in the middle of the week where you're like, I can't, I got to stop. And so you take a little mini reset in the middle of your week, and that's okay.
Right. Like in a lot of religions I grew up in a conservative Christian religion, so you have the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Like you are supposed to rest frequently.
On the 7th day you rest. Always.
Even if you're doing things.
Yeah.
Even if you're in a season of revitalization and you're doing all the things, you still rest. That doesn't mean go 24/7. So ask yourself now, what season are you in? And then how can you embrace it? Okay, so you guys know me. I always love action steps.
A good action
Audrey's
plan.
very flowy, and I'm like, we need a plan. Our listeners need takeaways. So here are my takeaways for you. So hopefully throughout this episode, you've been dreaming, you've been envisioning a new way of life, a new way of doing things. So if you're not driving or if you're not doing things, when you have a moment, write out your perfect day. So this vision, no limitations, no shoulds. What would it feel like? What would you do? How would you spend your time? Who would you spend it with? And then from that, identify one focus area of your life that feels out of alignment. So maybe this is your health. Maybe this is your relationships. Maybe this is your career. Maybe this is self-care. If you are trying, so just identify one area. If this is a new concept to you, start with yourself. Start with self-care.
Say self-care is usually the first
one
have to start.
Yeah.
So because you haven't been taking care of yourself. You've been doing all the shoulds, and self-care is never on that list of this is something I should do. It's something that you feel guilty about doing and taking time for yourself.
Yes.
Especially when you're a mom.
So once you have that one area, we're recommending self-care. Choose a small aligned action. So what's one thing that you can shift this week to feel more vibrant? What's one thing that you can do? I would recommend our glow method. It's 5 minutes a day.
It is 5 minutes a day.
It's 5 minutes a day.
And you find it on the free platform.
Yes.
You have access to it. We're giving you access to it.
Your one action could be joining the free version of the Vibrant Life Society and then checking out our glow method. It is designed for self-care. I designed it in the thick of things when I was like, I know I need to take better care of myself. I know I need better balance. I am struggling right now. So it was designed to be that freaking easy. So if you are in that same space, if you're like, I can't handle one more thing, this is designed to kind of take away from that and help you get in alignment. And then, share your thoughts in the Vibrant Life Society. We hope you join us in there, join the conversations. So yeah. I think that's the meat and potatoes of what we wanted to get across. But if you take anything away from this, know that a vibrant life, what we're creating here within this society, within this community, it's not about perfection. It's not promising perfection. Mm-hmm. It's about creating a life that's present and in alignment. And it's where you're choosing yourself over and over and over again. And I feel like that's so poignant right now because society is not choosing us.
No.
So it's more important than ever that we choose ourselves and we stand up for our sisters and we stand up for the people that need us.
Yeah.
And so it's time to choose. And you can't do that if you're not choosing yourself. You got to choose yourself first.
Take us to church, girl! Amen! Woo! I'm just like lit up. I'm like, yes, you have to love yourself first before you can love anyone else. And this is such an important time for us all to rise.
Yes.
And we have to rise together and create that community.
Ooh.
So we got to start with you first, and we want to help you do that. So
yes. So take some action.
Okay.
Go join the Vibrant Life Free Society. Next, we are talking about how to break free from survival mode. So we're going to be going deeper into that. So if you are finding us and you are like, I am also barely making it through the day, we're going to help you get out of that. We're going to talk about how to step into thriving. So don't miss it. Until then, leave us a review, help people find this, share with it on TikTok, go like our socials. Audrey puts a lot of work into those. So please give her some love and some attention there. But share a review on Spotify if you found us there, or YouTube, or we're all the places. We're just everywhere. Come find us.
We're a little less active on Meta now. We're not going to take anything down,
true.
But feeling like maybe that's not a good space to be. And Blue Sky cuts me off at a minute. So I'm on there, but I'm not doing a lot.
Yes.
We're signed up for Neptune, so we're hoping that might take off here in the next little bit. But yeah.
Yeah. And then join Vibrant Life. Join Vibrant Life Society. Get the app. Join the space. You can get it on your desktop or you can get it on your app. So we are in your pocket. So we can help you do the deeper work on this. So we hope to see you there.
All right. See you next time.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Exciting news! The Vibrant Life Society is now open, and we'd love for you to join our incredible community of empowered women. Sign up through the link in the show notes to start creating your most vibrant, joy-filled life today. And thank you for tuning in to our Vibrant Life podcast. We hope today's episode has energized and inspired you to live your best life. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. And please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to bring you more valuable content. Stay connected with us on social media at Vibrant Life Society for daily tips, motivation, and community support. As we wrap up today's conversation, we encourage you to embrace each moment, pursue your passions, and prioritize your well-being. Together, let's create a life that radiates with energy and purpose. Until next time, live vibrantly. See you in our next episode.